fist. God fist. God fist. Now eat the God fist. 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 God fist.
All right, family. Peace to everybody in the chat. We waiting on Dr. B. I'm tired of telling y'all I'll be coming on late. Y'all be like, Brother Rich, I'll be telling y'all I'll be waiting on my guests a lot of times. So I said, let me start while I wait on Dr. B. He just told me 2 minutes ago, so he should be on any minute now. But I said, let me go on, start the intro, so when Doc come on, we could just get right into it, family. I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat, everybody wherever you at in the world. We're going to have a great show tonight. We're going to have a great show tonight with Dr. B. We're dealing with the rainbow gods. The rainbow gods. We're touching on a very important topic. Very, very important topic. Here goes Doc right here. Let me bring on none other than Doctah B. Sirius.
Yes.
What's going on, Doc?
Whew.
How's it going? You sound like you a busy man. I know that's that sound. You sound like you just came home and you threw something on and you just got ready, man. What's going on? Life is busy, huh?
You know, when you are attempting to stay on course, you got a goal, you have a destination. Opposition is always going to be pulling you.
Oh boy.
Everything is connected to its opposite. You can't have up without down, back without forth, good without bad. And you will be tested when you are focused on getting somewhere. If you're just drifting, right? You're just out there drifting on a memory, floating around. Well, you don't have any forward movement. You don't have a telos. You don't have a goal in mind. So you just let the wind blow you. But when you are moving towards something big, and we right now are moving towards the biggest shift, the biggest change ever. What we're dealing with right now and what we're going through, nothing could prepare us for this. You know, a lot of people tell you they can read the future and they're prophetic and they know what's going to happen. I realize that nobody really reads the future because the future is changing its book. Every step, everything we do changes what could be a possible future or a possible outcome. Any turn you make could change everything. So you have to be ready for change and know that change is inevitable.
Yes.
The beautiful thing is that everything is speeding up.
Man.
We've been in the quickening since what, 1987? We're at the quantum quickening now. You think about somebody and all of a sudden they call you. You see, your reticular activating system is constantly looking for more evidence to prove what you are thinking, feeling, or saying is real. So if you think disagreeable, guess what? It shows up. Whatever you're focusing on expands. So at this time, going through this quickening, because things are happening quicker, we have to stay vigilant. And we have to realize that as we climb the mountain, the gravity is going to pull us. The higher you get on that mountain, the more gravity is pulling you back. When you start getting towards the peak, your legs is, you know what I'm saying? And your muscles is, pushing their hardest. There's more gravity pulling you. But when you get to a certain velocity, So you got purpose.
Hey, you know what, Doc? And I don't mean to cut you off, Doc, but you know what I noticed, and you're the perfect man to articulate this to before we start. We're gonna have an absolutely magnificent show, family, on restoring our aura. You know, when we often think of somebody and say they look good, remember we can only see when we say somebody look good, right? Like, let's say I see a female and I'm like, oh, she look good. I only see what 1% of the light spectrum. So I'm seeing a tiny, tiny fraction of who she is. So this is why another sister could walk by and maybe she may not be trying to look good, but she looks amazing. There's something about her. My eyes can't tell, but I could feel it. And Doc is going to get into that. But before we get into it, not just for looks purposes, but that's our energetic body. That's our rainbow body. And we're so scared of rainbows because they hijacked the rainbow. But we are the rainbow gods. You know what I'm saying? But Doc, before we get into that, one thing I noticed, you're the perfect person to bring this up to. I noticed that a lot of people, Doc, are spiritually exhausted. What do I mean by that, Dr. B? Well, they're not getting the exact results that they want from the information that they are reading, that they're hearing about on YouTube. And you can see their belief system starting to shake a little bit. You know, it's like, okay, come on now. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. What advice would you give to somebody? I had a great conversation with Sharif Bey where he said, let me just say this. He said that sometime it takes 8 years just to believe. You might read a book. It may take your body 8 years just to believe it because of the intense programming we underwent when we were young. But saying that to say, for people who may feel 2025, what happened to all these superpowers, they feel spiritually exhausted. What would you say, advice would you give to them, Dr. B, before we get into this magnificent show tonight?
First of all, sometimes we get caught up in this entitlement, and we think that because we know what we know, we've studied what we studied, that we're entitled to get into this place called heaven on earth. But that is a construct created by the person who is viewing. We are observers of our lives. And sometimes what we expect doesn't happen the way we expect it. We expect things to be, when you do this, you learn this meditation, you read this book, you take these herbs and all of this, and this thing is going to happen. No, because the future is unknown and you will be tested. The best are tested the most. If you are really attempting to be the best at what you do, everything else is going to test you. So we get tired sometimes because we feel like we've done everything we're supposed to do. See, that's your ego. The ego says, I'm doing everything. I do the meditations every day and I still got problems. But what we don't realize is that we are only co-creators. And what we also don't realize is that we picked these bodies. We picked these experiences. We picked the challenges that we're going through. We don't remember because we think we're the body. We think these avatars that we have is it. As you said earlier, we can only see a very small fraction of the spectrum of energy. We can only see a small fraction of the spectrum of our lives. We can only see a small fraction of our true purpose. But first, we have to realize that we've been tested. Even the opposition that we've been through, even our oppressors. I know it's hard to really go along with this sometimes. People, they fight me on it. We chose this life, even the oppression that we've been through. No, Dr. B, you lost me now. But what I'm saying is when you're a master, masters always test themselves. They never just get comfortable. So we came down here as energy, as light energy into these bodies, knowing there was going to be challenge, knowing that there was going to be all these things, that these forces that were going to work against us. But those are like sparring partners to see how strong we really are, how powerful we really are. We are gods. The more melanin you got, the more you're going to be tested by the non-melanin. The more carbon you got, You're going to be tested by the things that don't have as much carbon. The more you move towards what it is you desire, you will be tested by the things that work against you. You could say they're bad, they're evil. Evil is a perspective. There's only one degree of difference between good and bad, up and down, back and forth, evil and non-evil, love and peace and war. There's only one degree of separation, and any second could change everything. So we have to be careful thinking that our thoughts are correct. We live in our heads. We live in our egos. Me, 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 me. Where do we get that concept? That's a Western concept. Me, 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 me. Look what I'm going through. Look what I did. Look at me. And check this out. Somebody asked me, did I watch the Grammys or some awards thing? And I said, well, no, I don't really watch it. They said, well, why not? You've been in music all your life. I said, because it's all about visuals, the lights. It's not about the actual talent. It's not about the feeling that music or whatever gives us. It's about visuals first. We naturally, as carbon-based, original, nine-ether people, we're feeling first. That's kinesthetic, auditory. We're hearing second, and visual. Kinesthetic, auditory, visual experience. That's who we are. That's the cave. Kinesthetic, auditory, visual experience. We got flipped and tricked. And we did it to ourselves, and we allowed it to be done to us, where we've become visual first. We need to see it. Then we became auditory, and then what? Kinesthetic. Because that's the way the people that lived in the ice tundra saw things. That's the way they had to live. They had to see the prey. They had to see the food. They didn't know nothing about the meditation and all that kind of stuff. They were survivalists living in the ice tundra. They had to take a lot of things to survive, because when you're in survival mode, guess what? You're in greed mode. It's about me. I got to get mine. I got to get my air, my water. Let's take the, they got some stuff in that village. Let's go get it, because we don't have anything. We're going to starve. So go in there and conquer them and take everything. Take. That's survival mode. That's fear mode. That's anger. We originally have always been kinesthetic. We need to feel it first. Before you see it, before you even hear it, you need to feel it. Then hear it. And then see it. Otherwise, we become dyslexic. Dyslexic means you're reading from the left-hand side of the page to the right. Is that natural? Where'd that come from? Where'd you get that from? Where you get that funk from? We're reading from the top of the page to the bottom. Where you get that from? Is that natural for us? You know, you get a magazine. What do? You go right to the back, don't you? Why? Because it's natural for us to go to the back first. It's natural for us to look at the end, which is the beginning. So we have been brought up in a society by a group of people who is all about take, me. Where we originally, it was about we, the village, the people, the family, us. Huh?
Right.
It's us first. They not like us. Do you understand how deep this concept is? A lot of folks ain't broke that down on the metaphysical because they don't know who us is yet. Who is us? You have to know what's not you before you realize who you are. So what's really powerful at this particular time is that everything in nature is pointing the way home. But we have to get back to nature, because nature follows the path of least resistance. Water don't be trying to go uphill. It doesn't do it. It's going downhill. But when we begin to go against the natural flow, and we need to see flashy lights, we're looking at the outfit. We're looking at what they wearing and what they driving to make a judgment. Oh man, they gotta be rolling, man. Look at that, man. Look at them diamond bracelets, man. Look at all that money they got. Look at that house. Look. So you think that's most important, what it looks like they have, what it looks like they're achieving, who it looks like they are. But guess what? Feeling comes first. We need to feel it as if it's already happened. Don't envision what you need to happen in your life. Feel it. as if it's happening now. That's what you create magic by first imagining the feeling of being in the space you would like to be in. And what happens is a lot of times we've been doing the meditations and all the work that we think we should do from a European mindset. And we want to see the things that we've gained. I don't have nothing. You have a lot. We were born with a lot. We just may not be tapping into the right angle yet. And we're not using everything we came to use. And we're not realizing that we must go through pain. We must go through struggle. We must work hard to get towards and stay on the path. What is the path? You got to choose that.
Real quick, I'm curious. And, when me and Dr. B is on the show, we do spontaneous things. As Dr. B is talking in the chat, tell me how many years, everybody remembers when they first got into the information. How many years have y'all been into this metaphysical information? Just write a number. It may be 2 years. It may be 5 years. It may be 20 years. It may be 30 years. It may be 1 year. It may be 7 years. I'm just curious to know, how long have you been seriously into the metaphysical information? And everybody could write a number down. Dave's 4. Old man is okay. Hoorah 5, Keta 10, New Diamonds 8, Glow Glizzy 10. All right. See, everybody is generally new. What would you say? You know how in the NBA, Doc, you a rookie, or in high school you got to complete 1 year to be a freshman. How many years are you a freshman? Does it take to be a freshman in terms of the spirituality? Like, do you have to be in this for 5 years to be a freshman? 10? Because I think in ancient Egypt, they weren't allowed to do certain things, so they turned 40 or something like that. Or I forgot it. Blue Pill told me something about it. I've heard it plenty of times, but how many years do you remain a freshman, Dr. B, in this information?
And in Kemet, it was about the 40-year mystery school.
Yeah. Okay.
If you wanted to build buildings, you had to go to the 40-year mystery school and learn about everything. No matter what you decided to do in your career, you had to study for 40 years. If you're building homes, you need to know about the auric field of people who are going to live in that home. You needed to know about the feng shui, the energy, where to place the house on the planet. All of those things where you were able to gain the knowledge of everything you could before you stepped into what they call mastery. So a lot of us have started 3, 4, 5 years, 45 years. Some of us were born into it.
Right.
Some of us were born into it. We were born into this. When I was a little child, I was born into drumming. I've been a percussionist since I was a little child, banging on pots and pans. I'm still learning every day. I've learned new rhythms. I'm learning new instruments every day. All the time. You have to be learning all the time, and don't get your ego caught up into, I should be there now. I got this. I read that book 25 times. I read the Secret Toth of Tothers. We got all this stuff we feel we read.
Tothers. Wow, that's a hell of a book.
I read the purple tablets, the red tablets. Wow. I should be there now, and nothing's changing. Wow. Because we haven't changed. We think that information is very important. The most important is information, right?
Right.
Information has got to do with intelligence from the past. This moment has never happened before. The most successful people are living in this moment as if it's never happened before, and also living as if this is the only moment. A lot of times you have gained the gifts, but you can't see them because you have already determined what success looks like based on what you've been given, based on programming, based on social constructs, based on social engineering. Ego. That's ego. Sometimes you have everything. Many of the things we need are right around us. You ever lose something and you're looking all day for it, and guess what? It's sitting right there. You couldn't see it because we're looking too far. Go inward. When you go inward, almost everything that you really need is there. There's a rhythm, there's a frequency, and there's a tone for you. But you first have to atone. You first have to tune up. You got to keep tuning up. Every time I play my drums, I got to retune them. You know, I went down to the NAMM convention, right? This is where you go look at all the new instruments, and they kept telling me about these new conga drums, you know, with these fake heads, these plastic heads. And these are new skins. What do you mean a new skin? Well, you know, you never have to tune them. They're made out of the special polyfiber. I said, no, I need animal skin heads. I'm a conga drummer. I need animal skin heads. No. See, that's old school. You can get them, but they're very expensive. So we want the cheap stuff. We end up with plastic. How much plastic do we need to live our lives? Do you realize how many things that we are ingesting and breathing in have plastic or plastic energy in them? Huh? Do we realize how much plastic, fake, and we want it because it looks good, it's cheap, it was on sale. Buy one, get 12 free. What? And you go for that because it's cheap. So we become plastic. Our clothes, if your clothes are made of these unnatural petrochemicals, that seeps into your skin. It seeps into your auric field, it tears your auric field. A lot of the foods got microplastics in them. A lot of these foods that you say are vegan foods, you know what I'm saying, plant-based. Well, what do you mean? Is that a legal statement? What do you mean plant-based? Is it based in a plant or is it based in being made in a plant? How many, genetically modified organisms went into this fake thing? How is it affecting your hormones? Because one thing that plastic does is it plays with your hormones. Hormones are chemical messengers. Chemical messengers. So your hormones, which are a part of your glandular system, if they are emitting oils, because a lot of the hormones are based in oils, but the oil is your natural oil is now being infused with polyfibers and polychemicals and stuff that was made for the gasoline engines and things like that. We're inducting that. People sleeping in polyester sheets. Brother kept telling me about his prostate. All he did was change, number one, his underwear. I said, bro, what kind of underwear you wear? Oh, man, I got these stretchy ones, man. The girls like them. I said, never mind what the girls like. You better get some 100% cotton, organic, or linen, or find natural fibers and wear that. Number two, you got to cleanse, man. You got parasites. What do you mean parasites? I said, there's parasites that eat the plastic in you. I haven't even heard nobody talk about this. There's parasites that only look for the plastic or the inharmonic chemicals and toxins in your body, and they eat that and you. What would make you go wear something that's unnatural like this and sleep? And this is everything that most people are buying that's on sale and cheap is plastic. So we become plastic. We got plastic intentions, plastic egos, plastic consciousness. A lot of folks want to get conscious, but ignorance still got them. A lot of folks want to get black, but white still got them. Some folks want to get up, but down still got them. We have to have a focus. And when we choose something, we got to choose realness. We got to be real. We got to let go of the bullshit. You may have to go through the dark night of the moon many years, every year, until you reach a certain level. And when you reach that level, you keep pushing higher than that. You're never at the top of the mountain. No matter how high you go, there's people higher than you. No matter how low you go, there's people lower than you. Where are you? Who are you? But you got to seal up your system. Man, we got a huge opportunity right now. One of the biggest opportunities ever. Do you realize what's happening in a week? In a week, the sun crosses the equator, bringing springtime to the northern hemisphere. So what do you mean, Doc? That happens every year. This particular equinox has never happened before. None of them are the same. The sun never rises and sets in the same place. It's always slightly different. So history is not repeating itself. Our mindsets might be, and we may say, well, that kind of happened before. Well, it didn't happen exactly before. But what's happening this year is this is a 9-year, 2025. This is completion. What? Yes. Now, they may have tricked you to make you think that January was the beginning of the year, but that's mind control when they drop the crystal ball. Why would they be dropping the ball on New Year's if we're rising to a new year? How do they get you dropping the balls? Because when that ball drops and your eyes follow it down, that tears your auric field open. Did you know about this? When people look you up and down, if you don't know how to zip up your auric field, they open up your electromagnetic system and you leak energy just by somebody looking you up and down. Now, if you learn this technique, which we're going to talk about this weekend, you learn this technique, they can't unzip you. They can't tear you open. Little small techniques. These things are testing you. People, there's always people talking about you. There's people that don't like you. So what? If you care too much about them, you'll never be successful. They're tearing you open. They're ripping you open. But guess what? Springtime, you get to let all of them go. You break new soil. You plant new seeds. You let go. You recycle. You rebuild. Some things you got to take out the trash and do that spring cleansing. This particular spring of 2025, check out how much mass distraction is around this. Folks worried about what trumpets in them is talking about and all that stuff in the politics. Bro, that may not have anything to do with you. It ain't none of your business until it comes to your door. Well, how's it affecting you? Man, things is messed up now. Are they messed up at your house? Yet? Now, some people, yes, it's already hit them at certain levels, but a lot of people know. But we focus on what they're telling us, what they're giving us to scramble our brains. When your brain is scrambled, when you're caught up in mass distraction, then you're going for mass destruction. You're going to jump off the hill with the rest of the sheep. But becoming a black sheep, a carbon-based sheep, a melanin-dominant sheep, that's when you become a ram. You leave the sheep alone. What's the ram all about? Well, they say that Aries comes with spring. And Aries is supposed to be the beginning of the horoscope. Oh, wow. I'm not deep into the horoscope, but I can tell you one thing. Study the ram. The ram has spiral horns. And you could tell the age of that ram by how many spirals, how much challenge they've been through, how many times have they had to butt their head. The ram gets things started, and it will bang its head and bang its head and bang its head to make itself grow. It's going to put itself through pressure because those ram's horns, they put pressure on the skull of the ram. Because your brain is full of piezoelectric crystals. I need you to hear what I'm saying. A piezo or a piezoelectric crystal is a crystalline structure that when you put pressure on it, it puts out electricity or light or frequency or sound. Like a quartz crystal. You go in a deep, deep blue-black room with no light and put that quartz crystal in a vise. And you turn that vise until it puts more and more pressure. That thing starts to glow. Well, that's what your pineal is. It's a piezoelectric crystal. Of course, it's calcified. It's supposed to be. It's made of calcite crystal strings. But when you put pressure on your pineal, guess what? That's when it puts out pinealine. When the sun crosses the equator, it puts pressure on your skull. Each season, when you go through these seasonings, right? Seasons or seasonings, when you go through that, it changes your field of energy. Spring is a good time to spring forward. What are we going to do? Sit around and worry about what we can't control during the spring? Because now you plant those seeds. Whatever you're thinking about, ruminating on, you are planting those seeds. And now the plants that grow, they're either going to be toxic or they're going to be medicine. We are creating in every single moment in this particular opportunity we got right now on many levels. Oh, this is as metaphysical as it gets because we be getting so deep it'd be ridiculous sometimes. It's so deep that you could drown you. It's real basic. Follow nature. Get in touch with nature. Why all of a sudden the robins pop up? The robins are some of the first birds to come back from the south. The robin lets you know that you got to become like Robin Hood. You got to take from over here and bring over here. Those robins are finding, they're the first ones to get the worms. And the birds and the animals that are waking up right now are putting out a frequency. Do you know what those frequencies that those birds and the animals do? You know what those frequencies do? They cause the plants to open up and bud. There's a whole connection between nature. Deep bass notes, rhythms in the ground when the sun is vibrating at a new level. That rhythm, it excites the mycelium network. The mycelium network is beginning to pump new life into all the plants in the northern hemisphere. Then on the 21st of March, you know what happens? The pine trees pop. They pop this pollen. The pollen is called the semen of the forest. That's that yellow dust that some people say is, they're allergic to. You're not allergic to that, most likely. You're allergic to the kind from flowers. But pine pollen has all the nutrition needed for the forest. It covers the forest. It feeds the forest. It is one of the best nutrients there is. It is one of the best plant feeders. It feeds the animals. It gets into streams. It gets into tributaries. It gets in the dust of everything. And it causes a spark that says, get up, let's go. Get up off your ass. Let's go. The pine trees. The pine tree is related to the pineal because when the sun crosses the equator into spring, the pineal energy, the pinealine that you've been storing since true Christmas, begins to come online. And that's why you got so many people. Look at, they got Ramadan, same time of year. Lent, same time of year. Passover, same time of year. If you don't let go of some things during this time, then guess what? You still carrying the trash, all the talk and all the ego and all the BS you've been through. You have to be ready to reset, renew, revive. There'll be no resurrection without death. You got to kill your old self. You got to seal up your auric field. And we're going to get into some things that actually open up your auric field and put holes in it. And it has to do with habits. And it has to do with ways of talking and ways of thinking and not cleansing and detoxifying. Brother called me last night. Well, Dr. B, how you doing? I went out and did a parasite cleanse. I said, you did a parasite cleanse? Well, I didn't get yours, but I did get one. I said, how you feel? Well, no, I went to the doctor and the doctor told me. I said, well, there's different types of parasite cleanses. Did you do a systemic parasite cleanse? Well, what is that? That deals with systemic parasites. Those are mental, physical, spiritual, energetic, and even some of them are cosmic parasites. Do you know how to deal with that? That's Dr. B's specialty. I had to go through an event in the Bermuda Triangle in September 1996 to get this very special information. And I lost my mind for about 28 days. I snapped because this information was downloaded to me. Fortunately, I met Dr. Kweku Ando, who's a Dogon priest, who helped me move through that and told me what information I was given because I was taken and downloaded and reconfigured to do what I'm doing now. That was deep. I lost everything. I lost my mind. Now, I've been an herbalist for many, many years, but I didn't even know how to do that. I didn't know how to do anything. I lost my mind. I had to be reconfigured. But right there, when that happened, the Dogon priest pops up and gives me the name Sirius. He says, you got to focus on Sirius. You got to be serious about your direction, where you're going, your purpose. You're here to help people get rid of mental, physical, spiritual entities. Not just parasites for your colon, parasites that are eating your life. And I don't know if y'all know about the beings called the soul catchers. Have y'all heard of soul catchers? I'm not talking about a group or a band from the 70s. The soul, that would have been a good name, the soul catchers. No, there's these beings that live on the dark side of the moon. They are they slave masters. They control your energy and they create discord on the earth. They create disharmony. Why do they do that? Because when people are angry, fearful, jealous, when people have unresolved grief and they feel like victims, you emit a gas. You emit an bioelectric frequency. That frequency is the soul catcher's food. Go deep, you'll find it, because some folks don't want to see this because it's almost frightening. And they get you when you pass over, right? You're talking about Passover. Some people cross over and they follow that light. Follow the light. If I saw is there, I follow the path and the light. The light leads you to the soul catchers. So when you leave here, it would be best if you don't want to get caught back up in that slavery system, because that's what they do. Is got people working and using energy and mining all these minerals and all these things and fighting and creating wars, because that's what they do. When you go towards the light, you're being reconfigured and sent back as a slave. But some of us, we didn't go towards the light. You went towards the darkness, because the darkness is where everything happens. But they got folks scared of the dark. They got folks that don't, there's dark people that don't like dark people because you're darker than me. But the ark has to do with a ship that will carry you through whatever. As we cross into springtime, y'all, this particular spring in 2025, those of you who know the numbers and the mathematics, this is it. Between now, 2025, in 2027, you will experience a polar flip. What? The poles are flipping. It's not going to be drastic where all of a sudden you wake up and everything's upside down. Well, maybe it will, because some folks woke up today and their world's upside down. What have you been focusing on? How have you been living? What is your polarity? We're going through this time when the soul catchers, listen to me now, they will lose power unless you sign a new contract with them. If you stay in fear, if you stay in victimhood, if you keep talking about the past, if you don't let go of the things that have been holding you and binding you and keeping you as a hostage, you're gonna complete that. You're gonna do it again for another lifetime and another lifetime. And the deep thing about it is these beings, they got good karma. The beings that control this realm, the evil ones, they got great karma. You know why? They tell you what they're doing. They put it in books. These big corporations that you're saying are so evil, they put it on the label. You went and bought this stuff with, it's supposed to be a natural food, but it had 49 ingredients. Some of them began with an X and end with a number. Exofleclofollicular, and you ate it. What's natural? No, it's a Frankenfood. So those foods and those toxins that we use, some of them we use them for emergencies. But now you're out of the emergency and you're still spicing this stuff up to make it taste good. Soul food. What's up with that? We had to eat it at a point. So we began to spice it up. We use seasonings. Did you know that every seasoning is a medicine? Every seasoning in your cabinet is a medicine. You might not want to call it that number because the Catholics got you scared because that's some type of evil. That's witchery. That's some type of voodoo or something. You see, you messing with those herbs and spices. That's medicine. It's medicine in your cabinet, what you call the spice cabinet. I'm doing a class on it on Saturday. In fact, this will be the third class this Saturday. Go to elevationtime.com and join the class. Spice it up, because there's so much power in your spice cabinet. Do you have any idea what real cinnamon is? This is real cinnamon. Real cinnamon, I could break it up with my fingers like that, and it just crumbles. I bet you your cinnamon don't do that. Wouldn't you like to know that there's medicines that can help you with your ascension? Because a lot of us are going through ascension symptoms. They don't feel good. We're depressed. We're sad. The bank, all of a sudden, our bank account gets funny. All these things are thrown at us, and we're going through drama and trauma, and we feel depressed and hurt and angry. A lot of times that's your ascension system of symptoms that you must move through. This is the nymph, right? Becoming a dragonfly. It's got to get to a point where its imaginal cells turn on and it crawls out of the swamp. When those imaginal cells turn on, that nymph turns into a dragonfly. We are in the dragonflies period. We're in gene key 55. Check out gene key 55 and you'll get it. But we've got to detoxify our bodies at a deep level, not just your colon, not just those old parasite cleanse herbs that you've been using forever. You've got to use certain metals, M state, monoatomic elements. We got to use sound, light, frequencies. We've got to do it over a certain circadian rhythm, 28 days. Don't tell me you did a cleanse in 7 days and you feel great. You might. But the soul catchers got you thinking that some of this stuff that you're doing, this simple, cheap stuff, is working. We've got to reach out. We've got to reach in deep. We've got to be ready to invest and go through the night of the soul, crawl up out of the swamp. And that's what's going to change us. And this spring is very important. This is the last chance a lot of people are going to get. Because the velocity and the energy and the frequency of the planet is speeding up so fast that you're not going to, you're caught up in the vortex. It's going faster and faster and faster. You got to get off the Ferris wheel now. The music wasn't right on that Ferris wheel anyway. Do, 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 do. You put the child on that thing, the child is messed up for years. Just the frequency of the, all those speakers at the amusement park. All of them are tuned to 2,000 hertz. That's the pain frequency. That's the siren. Why are they using that megaphone type sound? It's programming you for pain. The cotton candy, the hot dog, the sugar, which makes you forget who you are. White sugar, brown sugar, processed sugar. We've got to release all that. We've got to release these parasites, these entities in a way that we've never done it. How many of y'all ready to do that? How many of you are ready to let go of this stuff at a deep level? And I'm going to tell you right now, cloves and wormwood and black walnut and diatomaceous earth and your papaya seeds and your pumpkin seeds, they're okay. But when you're dealing with systemic parasites, and these parasites are bioweapons, do you know what a bioweapon is? Does anybody have an idea what ethno-specific weapons are? And all this is here to test us to see if we can get past this, if we can raise through this, because only the best are going to be able to get through this one. If y'all with me, let's ride, because this is the time to ride. This is the time we've been waiting on. The signal of the earth right now, the frequency is on a whole nother level. But that mass distraction will get you. What they're doing, what they did, and you heard today. Did you watch the news? The news is like it's going to hang you. The 6 o'clock news. They said yes. They said no. There's a war. There's a this going on. Fear, fear. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Of what? People wake up afraid. And they eat plastic. And they eat toxins and biochemicals and accept it. Listen to the doctor tell you exactly what you need to do with your body. Go read the Flexner report. The Flexner report, and you'll see what happened to medicine. Why they got rid of all the natural medicine, the drugless doctors, the real naturopaths. Why all of a sudden did they start calling earth medicine paganism? Do you know what the word pagan means? Country. A pagan person is a country person. They live off the country. They watch the trees. They watch the season. A friend told me the other day, you all into this Equinox and all this stuff. That ain't Christian. Oh, who said it was? What that got to do with me? I'm an earth person. Aren't you? We have to get in touch with Mother Earth, Big Mama right now. Are y'all ready to ride? So tomorrow night, we're doing a free webcast at elevationtime.com. Go to elevationtime.com. And, or you can go to Instagram and go to my bio in the link tree, and you'll see a free webcast, a natural solutions webcast that I'm doing tomorrow night. That's from 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until. And I'll be dropping a lot of information. There's things I can say there that I might not be able to say here, but we're going to allow people to make a choice to detox at a new level. Do you know the new parasite cleanse, the elevated parasite cleanse now has an ingredient or 2 ingredients to extract snake venom from your system? I don't have no snake venom. Shh. That's the problem, your ego. You don't know if you got it or not. Because this stuff shed from person to person to person. How'd you get it? We'll talk about that later. But everybody got it. And we couldn't get rid of it until now. It had to go through a certain amount of circadian rhythms and moon cycles. This spring is the time you get to relieve yourself of a whole lot of stuff that you haven't been able to do for 20, 30, 40 years. Your parents couldn't do it. The spell is ready to be broken. This is the time to break the spell of the spell masters, the spin masters. Those DJs that, those beings that have been controlling our lives. Are you ready? ElevationTime.com. Like I said, free webcast tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we're doing a class on Saturday, 11 a.m. Spice it up so that you can learn what's in your cabinet. Some people know what's in their cabinet, but how do you use it? Which brands to use? Is it in plastic? Is it in glass? Is it in a aluminum can? What are you putting on your food? Because your food should be your medicine. And you could turn almost anything into medicine based on your mindset, based on your energy field, and what you use to spice it up. So that class is on Sunday. Now, Brother Rich, I know I done went off on a rant. I don't know where you at, but if you're still in the room, come on back so we can talk. Because I don't know if this is the subject we was going to talk about.
Okay. Yeah, I'm here, Dr. B. I'm here, Dr. B, man. You done went off about, when detoxing is important, when we're talking about our auric field, because this is just a tiny percentage of who Brother Rich is, and other aspects of me that you guys feel it when I talk, and there's something greater to me than just the human avatar, and our food plays a huge impact on that, Dr. B. So when we dig detox, that's a major factor in changing our auric field or having a more vibrant auric field. They have the Carillion photography, I think, where they snap photos of a person's auric field. And I would love to see an auric field before somebody detoxes and after somebody detoxes, so we could just see exactly how important this thing called detoxing is. You know what I'm saying, Doc?
And it's deep because we are toroidal transformers.
Doc, I don't know what that means. Come on, man. What that? Come on, Doc. What does that? You like Dr. Valentine right now, man. What that mean? Toroidal transformers, man. Talk to me, Doc.
So if you look at the Earth, and they show the energetic magnetic fields around the Earth. So there's lines coming out of the top of the Earth, going back into the Earth at certain points, especially around the equator, and the same at the bottom. So there's like a valley at the top, like a funnel, and there's one at the bottom, like an apple. It's just like an apple. Energy is coming out the top, going around, coming back into the bottom. That's a toroid or a torus.
Okay, the Taurus. That's what you. Okay.
A toroidal transformer is a thing that can take frequencies and change the frequency from one form to another. We are toroidal transformers, where we become a torus or a vortex. We are vortices. If you could see what our auric field looks like, some of people who have a more whole vortex or a auric field, it looks like two pyramids. One facing up with the point going up at the temple, right? And another one going down. Two interconnecting triangles. And the energy spins in two different directions. This is a toroidal transformer, which is also the flower of life. The flower of life is a toroidal transformer. We're just looking at it.
Merkaba, right? That's the Merkaba.
Merkaba.
Yeah.
Mer. What does mer mean? Light. Mer means light. Ka, spirit. Ba, soul. The Merkaba is a spaceship. It's a vehicle.
Right.
We all are a Merkaba. If you take mer and turn it backwards, what do you get?
REM.
Rapid eye movement. You got to turn a lot of these words around because, like, we live in a dyslexic world where everything is the opposite of what you're seeing. Check this out, man. When you are in the place you should be, you're living in a dream time. The frequency is off, the poles are off, so you think that this is the real world. But the indigenous people of like Australia and some of the parts of, Alkebulan and different places, they will tell you this is not the real thing. This is like a video game. This is like a projection that we think is real. This is a matrix that was created. But when you go into rapid eye movement, when you sleep, the person's eyes are moving, they're in dream time.
Oh yeah.
They're actually in the real world. Just like in the Matrix, they get plugged in and out of the Matrix. That is not of science fiction. That's a documentary. That is real. We have agreed that all this is real, and it's hard to change it. That's because the work that we got to do sometimes is in the dream world. Let me tell you, I'll be honest with you. For the last 3 nights, I've been having nightmares.
Whoa, come on, Doc.
I woke up, man, the other night, man, and I was in the back of a truck, and these 2 KKK dudes was driving, and they had a pit bull.
Goddamn, Doc. The hell be on your mind?
Nothing. I ain't had none of this on my mind.
Shit, the pit bull. Shit.
I had to fight for survival. I had to snatch the pit bull who was trying to go for my throat. So I woke myself up from the dream. I said, oh, this is not a good dream. I got to get out of here. I woke up, went and got some water, put a little salt in my water, put a little, salt in my mouth. Because, a little salt in your mouth, a little, Celtic sea salt, that'll help, reset you really quickly. I went back to bed. Guess what? It started over.
Yo, those are the craziest dreams, man. You go right over to it. Damn.
I was like, what's going on? Why would I be for the last 3 nights I've been having what you might call nightmares. But now that I know what they are, they're the final test. Some of y'all out there know about this. You're going through this thing right now. This folks going through some of the worst stuff they've been through, mentally, physically, spiritually. Even those of us who call ourselves conscious, that don't mean nothing. Because you got a bunch of book knowledge and you learn a couple things, and you got a sage bush plant in house. That's great. All those things are tools, but we're being tested. We're being tested financially. We're being tested energetically. Why would we be tested? I've done what I'm supposed to do. No, a master is always testing itself. So I needed to have those nightmares so I could realize and be focused on what I truly am here to do, and realize that was all stuff from the opposition fed into my subconscious for me to test myself. Because every time I was in that same white truck with them flags in the back that let you know who these folks are, I got away. And guess how I got away?
Oh.
I dove into a river. And I could breathe underwater. And I realized this is about cleansing. This is about detoxification. This is about becoming Aquaman. This is about being able to breathe under pressure. This is about breathing other viscosities, because, water is a liquid, but so is an oxygen. I needed to go to another level.
Right.
But we're all being tested right now on many levels to see if we have what it takes. Do you really believe this stuff? You really think you got it? That's why there's been storms and floods and fires. That means we're getting close. So I know I'm getting close to something big right now. I can feel it. I was outside today and went out in the backyard, and the whole yard, just in the last month, I haven't been out there to look at it like this, but there's moles in the ground, moles underground. You can see little, where they've been digging. If you go get books like Animal Speaks, and you look at the indigenous belief where if you see an animal, or if one pops up that has a lot of great message for you, the message was that I need to get back to the soil and go underground. I need to deal more with the earth, more with the soil. So you know what I did? You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
I reached down and ate some dirt.
Interesting.
I ate some dirt. People's like, Earth, that dirt is dirty. Yeah, dirt is dirty. Mama Earth is dirt. I needed to put some earth in my body. And when I put earth in my body, it changed me. I became one with the mole people. Who were the mole people? The mole people are related to the ant people. Well, who do the indigenous people say were the first people here? They call them the ant people and the mole people, the underground people. They could live above ground and above and underground. They could live under the water, the aqua people or the mermaids. That's us. To be able to live in certain and different atmospheres. That's who we are. And we're being tested to see if we're good enough and strong enough. But like the nymph, we're crawling out of the swamp and becoming dragonflies. But many dragonflies don't, a lot of nymphs don't make it. That's why the dragonflies lays thousands of eggs, because most of them are not going to make it. You may have to come here and do this again and again. A lot of us been here many times. So right now we've got a chance to detoxify at a very deep level. We're not just talking about a regular colon cleanse. And we're not just talking about the little parasite worms that live in your body. That's easy. We're talking about the metaphysical parasites, the mental parasites. We got to change the frequency of the blood. We got to change the music that we're listening to. Do you know what music is doing to people's auric fields? Now, remember, I told you we're toroidal transformers, right? So the energy is moving in these vortices, these vortexes. Like they look like tornadoes, like the water when it's going down the drain. Except one in the northern hemisphere, the water is going down to the right. And in the southern hemisphere, the water goes down the drain to the left. The earth is spinning in two opposite directions. That's why it's not spinning in two opposite directions. The energy around it, the wind patterns are different on the northern hemisphere than it is on the southern hemisphere. So when planes fly from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere, they could be, their wings get torn off if they don't hit a certain angle. You got to be at a certain angle at a certain degree to go through those toroids where the information is spinning. It's different. But we have that too. That's our chakra system, our windows. They're vortices. They're like little tornadoes. They're like windows to our glands and to our souls. And what happens, Brother Rich, is that through a lot of the things that we go through, we end up getting tears in our auric field, because your auric field is the electromagnetic structure around you, your biosphere, your magnetosphere. These are all subtle bodies. There's many different types depending on the discipline that you study. But these are subtle bodies around us. That's actually who we really are. We think that we're just the physical body. The physical body is just the device that we use to get around on Earth. That's just our vehicle. That's our spaceship. That's our Earthship. But around us, in the field of energy around us, is our truth ship. So sometimes, you've got to be careful, because what you're doing, what you're eating, who you're hanging out with, what you're listening to is having effect on your toroidal transformer. So you can't always transform.
One thing you brought up to me on the phone, Doc, earlier is that our auric field plays a song. Each one of us is a unique song. The same way we hear a unique song on the radio and we like, oh, we never forgot that song, like Michael Jackson Beat It or whatever. Our auric field is playing music right now. So I feel as though that's interesting, and we got to vibe with the music that's a match to our music. You know what I'm saying? And maybe if we could describe this in a musical way, people will understand it better. But just the idea that I'm a walk-in radio and I'm playing music, and you pick up on my song on a subtle level that consciously you may not realize, but you realize on another level That's some deep stuff, Doc. What if y'all could describe a song? I like to keep it interactive before you start talking. What song, if Dr. B's aura is playing a song, what song, y'all, is Dr. B's aura playing? If y'all could say, if each one of our auras is playing a song, what song, even my aura, what song is my aura playing? What song is my aura playing? And what song is Dr. B aura's playing? So you got to make this thing fun, Doc. You got to make this thing fun. So let me know what song y'all think. Somebody said a Sun Ra orchestra song. Okay. Atomic Dog, yeah. Atomic Dog. Yo, hold on, where's that at? Yo, I think that's it. Damn, I can't find it. The chat is moving. Yo, somebody said, that's the joint. I can't find the thing, but that's the joint. Everybody, the fraternities, they be dancing to it. Who made that song? Bow wow wow yippee yo yippee yay. Who's that?
Parliament Funkadelic. George Clinton.
George Clinton, yeah. Atomic Dog. Yo, Doc, that's your song. Oh man, that is you, Doc. That is
you. Know that song had to do with Sirius?
Yeah, I think you might have told me that.
The dog star.
You might have told me.
Sirius is the dog star, and the Sirius star system is about the dog. It's Canis Major.
Yeah.
Dog. Atomic Dog. That is about us focusing on the dog star, which is the serious point that we need to be focusing on right now. And It just rose, by the way.
What just rose?
Sirius is rising.
Okay.
When Sirius rises above the horizon, right around March the 20th and 21st,
right.
It sparks estrus, the mating season in all things above the above the equator.
Okay. Somebody say my song is Every Day I'm Hustling. Rick Ross, yeah. Oh man, yo, I like when we make this fun like this, man. This is information is supposed to be fun like this, y'all. Information is supposed to be
Somebody says Searching by Roy Ayers. Do you know I have a very special connection with Roy Ayers? In the when I was growing up, of course, we used to play his music, and I'm a percussionist. So I would always love to play with his records. And in about 1983, we hired him to play on a song I was producing on this artist. So he came to my studio at my house. You know, he was like a regular dude, just walked up, man. What y'all want me to play? And, we put the song on for him to play, and he played the whole song in like 4 minutes. The song was 4 minutes long. He'd never heard it before. He said, put the song on and record. I said, don't you want to listen to it? Just put the song on and record. He plays the whole song, right? Then he was done so quick. I said, well, Mr. Ayers, wow, I got a jazz album I'm working on. Oh, really? I want to be on it. Let me play on it. So I put the first song up. He says, just push play. Just push record. He played the whole song. The song was 7 minutes long. It took him 7 minutes to record it. Never heard it before. These songs had changes, intros, outros, modulations, all of that. He just played it. I put up 4 songs. He played those songs instantly, Brother Rich.
Wow.
He never heard them before. So I was blown away at how he could do this. How could he play these songs that he never heard before? And when he left the studio, I said, man, how could you do that? How do you just play these songs? And he looks at me and he says, there's only one song. I said, what? He said, there's only one song. And he walked away. He left. My mind is going, what do you mean there's only one song? It's millions of songs. So that was in 1983, maybe 1984. I'm in Atlanta. They asked me to open up for the Roy Ayers concert here. They asked me to be the open, I opened it up. I played the medicine drum. I did a meditation and the whole thing to open up the show. So then I went and sat down on my seat in the front row. Roy Ayers comes on. This is one of the artists I've always loved, and I haven't seen him since 1983 now. He points to a set of congas on the stage. He points to me in the audience, points to the congas, like to get up here and get on those congas. I jump up, man. I'm about to play with Roy Ayers. I jump on the stage. Of course, I know all the songs, and I'm playing with him. It's amazing. Some of y'all was here in Atlanta when this happened. So when it was done, I'm walking off stage and I see Roy Ayers backstage and he gives me a hug and he looks at me and says, "So you got it now, right?" I said, "Got what?" "That there's only one song." What do you mean? He remembered that from 1984? That there's only one song? And guess what? You know how I do the oneness meditations? I have the people clapping on the one and all that?
Right.
That came from Roy Ayers.
Oh, man.
That came from him saying there's only one song. There's only one rhythm. There's only one note. There's only one world. And separation is an illusion.
Man, that's a beautiful story. That is a beautiful story. Wow, that was a beautiful story right there, man.
So your body is an instrument in an orchestra, or as Sun Ra says, an orchestra. We are all musical instruments. The melody that you play, the rhythm that you play, the material that you're made out of is your life force. Whenever we speak, whenever we do things, we're singing a song. When we walk, when we talk, it's all rhythm. Right. Y'all know this because you could tell by the frequency of somebody's voice. "Hey, Dr. B, how you doing, man? So what y'all got going on? Where y'all going tonight, man?" You can always tell, listen to that song. That's not a happy song. I don't want to hang with y'all. Then other people, "Hey, man, like Brother Rich, he got like this music. I mean, he's like pushing the crowd. You see, he's a musician. He's emitting music all the time. So the music has a lot to do with your personality, and your personality and your music has a lot to do with the shape of your auric field. If you listen to music that's causing death, music that's about war, a lot of the rhythms that we listen to are death marches.
You say that, yeah.
I mean, talk about even in commercial music. We feel like that's dope, man. That's dope. You have no idea that that's a death march, which fractures your auric field. It fractures your mindset. It causes deception. It causes sadness. It causes all these things and anger, and you don't even feel it because we become numb. So there's certain places I don't go. I can't listen to certain music because it affects me. It affects you too, but you just don't always realize it until it's too late. Music is tuning us. What we listen to is tuning us, and what we make as music is the tune or the song or the frequency or the melody of the album. But we're all musicians. But because of when they realized that music was a mind control device, they got us to agree. This is the soul catchers once again, to agree that this destructive music was good. And we call it dope. Man, that's dope. Well, that's dopamine. That's the hormone that says that, wow, it feels good, but it ain't moving me nowhere. I just feel I want more and more. You're doped up. You're hooked on it. And we agree that this is the dope ass beat. And that, man, that's dope. You have no idea what that's actually doing, fracturing your energetic field, tearing your auric field open. Certain foods, as soon as you eat them, they tear your auric field open. Certain relationships you have, people that you might sleep with or hang out with or call your friends, or things that you like. You know, we like a lot now. Yeah, I love it, man. I like that. I like it. You have no idea how much this stuff that you're agreeing to is signing the contract of death. It's killing you. You just don't call it that anymore because you may not realize what living the real life is all about. It's about, what we get into, agreeing with everybody. I come on the Black Magic show because the frequency is right with him. People say, well, such and such is on Black Magic. Did you watch it? I only watch Black Magic when I'm on it because I connect with Brother Rich on a certain frequency. We had a conversation today that was really deep. I mean, I guess we're touching on bits of it now, but a lot of people have allowed their auric field to be torn.
Yeah, it's
a lot of people are under the spell of chronic servitude, and they don't realize that you're being served on a platter. What was that? What was that Twilight Zone where the people didn't realize that they was the food for some aliens? That's an old Twilight Zone. We're being eaten if we allowed ourselves to be eaten. So what you're listening to, this is why I created medicine music in 1990. People talking about, the frequency music and the Hertz music. I began to record that type of music in 1999.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of the people who started that whole thing of the frequency music. People might not know it. They're finding out now. And they're telling me, Dr. B, you was before your time. No, why am I going to be before my time? The right people know the music. They know the frequency. They're going to gravitate. They're going to gravitate towards something that does something, that heals. Music can heal or it can kill. Music can be your liberator or your lockdown.
Doc, I want to ask you something real quick before I forget. You ever heard of the Tartarian empires?
Yes.
All right. So they're saying that on the internet, the TikTokers have you going. I'm going to start bringing one thing I'm going to start doing, family. I'm going to bring some TikTokers on the platform and have them do their investigative reporting on the channel because they be doing some hell of a investigative reporting on TikTok. So I'm going to bring a couple of TikTokers up here and see how they make it in the YouTube platform. But anyway, one of the things the TikTokers say, according to the research, is that the bells that used to be everywhere when we was young, 12 o'clock, dong, dong, 6 o'clock, we used to hear bells. I'm an 80s baby. I'm sure before then, the 70s and 60s, but they're saying ancient civilizations had these bells and they figured out that they had to get rid of these bells because these bells were high frequency and certain lower frequency entities, it bothered them. It triggered them. They did not like the sound of bells. So what do you know about these bells that they got rid of all over that we used to hear when we were young? Talk to me about, do lower level entities dislike them? And are they extra beneficial to us and our awakening? Doc, I need to hear you talk about this because I heard the TikTokers, man. What you got to say?
The beings that took over this quadrant of space realized they had to get rid of everything that was going to keep us, from being gods. Bells and those objects that create frequencies,
right,
that create liberation, that wake up your auric field, that tune to every muscle, every cell in your body, because your body is musical. Those bells that they would ring at certain times were keeping people awake. Those bells made of those metals, those were enlightening people, giving us information. And I'm going to tell you another thing they got rid of. The big organs with the giant pipes.
Right.
Remember the big pipe organs?
Yeah. You're right.
They used to be in most of the towns, especially in places like Europe, because they wanted to keep the people of the town awake. So those organs wasn't for church. Those organs were manipulating and vibrating your organs. Every one of those notes put out a frequency because they had to pump air through them. And those big pipes vibrated, right, at such a frequency level, it kept the people awake. It kept reminding them that they were gods, or reminding people who they were. We didn't need those down in indigenous places because we had big drums,
right.
We had gongs, we had certain rhythms, and we would stomp our feet on the ground. Even the Twa people, they used to make sounds with leaves and sticks and bang on the trunks of trees. The Twa. Some of the first people, the little people. We've always been musical people. So somebody figured out, in order to keep us under control the music. Take the music from the natural frequencies. There's natural frequencies that are in the harmonics of Earth, and change them. They took one of the frequencies that we call 432, which is a harmonic of an Earth frequency. It's a harmonic. And they changed it to 444. 440. I'm sorry, 440.
Right.
And that became the central tuning note that threw everybody off. This was in 1957 when they all got 56 or 57, when they all agreed. This is the people who make standards, the standards of weights and measures. They got together with, I don't want to say all the names, and created this new music frequency that would keep people in static, keep people erratic, keep people in separation, to keep people where their head and their heart and their gut could not read the right frequency, because those frequencies let you know who you are, because you become a compass. You become you become a person that you know how to find home. You can look at the trees and tell. You can look at the stars. But when you lose your mind because they keep clanging these music sounds, then you can't ever tune up. So they created these frequencies to keep us out of tune. There's another one, 528. 528 is the heart frequency, love. When you are vibrating at 528, you can repair your DNA. They use 528 in the laboratories right now to repair DNA. But your commercial music is not going to have those frequencies. I couldn't care for spiritual music as a good song, but what we did in the 60s, in the 50s, even in parts of the 70s, we begin to bend the notes. It's called note bending. A lot of blues people, they learned how to bend the notes. Then you had people like the Bob Marleys and the Quincy Joneses with Michael Jackson's first album. And, you have musicians like Prince and certain people who actually were tuning to these sacred frequencies. Donny Hathaway. These people were singing and using the scale that they had, but they were able to bend the notes and play what's called blue notes, play stuff in between the frequencies to spice it up. That's what you call soul music. What happened to soul music? When did it become rhythm and blues? When did it become this and that? They had to get the soul out of music because the soul of music has to do with the soul of us, connecting to our soul. So when we're disconnected from our soul, we're disconnected from Akasha. We're disconnected from the omniverse and the universe and the stars. And we get to believe in this bullshit that they program in the frequencies of music.
Hey, Doc, let me show you something real quick. I got
oh man,
a rain drum. So I got some
Yes.
of these in my back on my deck, in my
Yes.
backyard. So when it rains, it's like beautiful music out there when it rains, and you can hear it. Like you can hear it if you open up the window, you can just or if I'm in the kitchen, you can just hear it. And it's like there's like 5 of these out there, Doc. So I try my best to keep my property on a musical vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you on one. And another thing you can do?
Yeah.
Is take some garbage pails. I'm talking about like.
I'm sorry.
I'm talking about if you take like a garbage pail, even one in your office, a small garbage pail, or a pail that you use to mop, for your kitchen, take it outside, turn it upside down so that the open part is down.
Right.
And when it rains, and you listen to the rhythms, it starts raining. And those are the natural earth rhythms that we dance to. That's the indigenous drum. Those rhythms are the rhythms that kept us in tune. Now, when they turned it into this new music, and that happened right around when all of a sudden money rules everything around us, and all of a sudden
cash rules,
cash.
Yeah.
When we started, it was all about the money. That's when you lose it.
Yeah.
Instead of those indigenous rhythms, because those indigenous rhythms, they seal up the auric field. So I got those, projects on YouTube, which are doing really good. I got one that's got 110,000 or 111,000 views. It's called the Sonic Immersion 3. Some of y'all have heard it. It changes the frequency of everything because if you listen carefully with your feelings instead of your ears, it begins to take you somewhere. Because I'm playing certain rhythms and the rhythm is not the same. The tempo is not the same. It's not quantized. It's not sampled. I'm playing pure feelings. And I got a new one about to come up out in about 2 weeks. Sonic Immersion 3. Yeah. And the medicine music that I have on my website at elevationtime.com, all of those are what you call frequency music, medicine music. Beautiful. It's a term I coined in 1999, me and my partner. Beautiful. Medicine music, because music can be medicine or poison. But those frequencies, right? Those frequencies that are off, the mathematics is off. Talk to King Simon about it. Certain numbers create certain frequencies.
Robert Grant has an excellent video. I would advise everybody to just type in Robert Grant 432 hertz, and he deals with how the 432 that equals the number 9, and he talked about the magic of the number 9 and mathematics and music and culture and all of that. 440 equals 8. We need our tuning to equal a number 9. Now I need the beings. You know what I'm saying? So, But Edward Grant, he was on my channel one time. I did a great interview with him. Check out his video, y'all. Check out his video on that. But go ahead, Doc. I just wanted to say that.
You know, I did a interview, which is going to be out soon. I did an interview with Robert Edward Grant as soon as he came out of the pyramids.
Right.
Me and Brother Rich, I mean, not Brother Rich, Billy Carson.
Yeah.
We did an interview with him. And it's going to be on I have this project that we're going to re-release, and it's Sirius Vibes. But Robert Edward Grant, he had just come out of the pyramids where he realized that the pyramids were musical machines, right. Musical devices.
Right.
So I have that recording. It'll be out soon, but he is amazing. And that polymath and that stuff he's doing, it's very deep because he realized what's happening with the music that we listen to. What's happening with the frequencies, even the instruments that we play.
Yeah.
But those instruments and those sounds can either heal you or they can keep you off. And the one way that they now control people is through music, through what you agree to. So those bells, and there was more than bells, there was gongs and all kinds of things that we used to use to keep us focused on sealing up. Because you're going to get tears in your auric field. You're going to get tears. It's going to happen through life. You can't just be, sealed up and perfect all the time. There's things that's going to happen. You see, I wanted to read something here.
Good, my brother.
Leaky aura syndrome. The term leaky aura syndrome is another way of describing a compromised aura, where the energetic field becomes overly porous. When your energetic field is overly porous, all kinds of stuff just comes in. What? Other people's stuff sheds on you. People's emotions, they're going through these heavy emotions, and you start going through it.
And for those who don't know what porous means, it means minute spaces or holes through which liquid or air may pass. So, openings.
I just want signs of a damaged aura.
Yeah.
May include low mood, depleted energy, brain fog, overwhelm, heightened senses, and a general feeling of being run down or out of sorts. How many people feel that? How many people feel that? I realized, man, Brother Richard was deep. When I realized that I could put music in the herbal products I was making, that was it. I was like, wait a minute, because I've been a musician all my life. And Dick Gregory said, man, that music is going, you're going to learn how to take that music and infuse it. I didn't know what he was talking about. I learned how to infuse herbal products, minerals. Like we got this new Shilajit Complete, which is one of the best Shilajits on the planet. Because it's real Shilajit. A lot of that Shilajit out there is shit. It's toxic. You got to be very careful with this one. But we found the best Shilajit we could find, and we created this new tonic. And then I began to put the frequency 528 and 414 in it. Some people don't even know about some of these frequencies. It began to bubble and change. When you're able to put frequencies into the herbs. Now, remember, when you're cooking herbs and substances and metals and whatever they are, you change them from the heat.
Right.
What we're able to do with the music is put sound in the herbal substances. I was asked by a scientist who took my cleanse because he wanted to prove that it didn't do what it did. And it changed him. And he came back and says, man, what are you doing? I said, we put sound frequencies in the product. He says, how do you do that? I said, well, that's my own special thing. I created something that's never been created that I know of. He says, what do you mean? I says, this cleanse is not just getting rid of parasites. It's sealing up the holes in your auric field.
That's deep, Doc. Sealing up the porous holes in your auric field. That's what we need, Doc. That's what we need.
That is everything. Then I figured out how to put light, which is music too. Music is sound, in the product. And he said, well, why do I have to take it over a 28-day period? Because it takes 28 days to seal up your auric field.
28 days?
28 days. You cannot do this in a weekend in a rain dance out in the woods grabbing trees.
God damn.
If you could do that every day for 28 days, you could possibly do it. It takes 28 days, which is a moon cycle. A month.
Ooh, man.
A month is a moon cycle.
Right.
That's why we say you have to do this cleanse, like our total body cleanse and our elevated total body cleanse for 28 days.
Yeah.
Because it's a rhythmic frequency that happens when you go through a moon cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So what we didn't realize originally, that there are parasites. Check this out. There are parasites in music. There are entities that live. Ask a great musician.
Doc, where you getting this from?
Ask a great musician. The jazz musicians knew this. John Coltrane and them, they knew this.
Wow.
They knew that there were certain notes and certain frequencies and certain rhythms that were parasitic. What is a parasite? That's something that uses another thing as a host, and it uses the energy or the nutrition of the host, and it gives the host nothing in what? Nothing back. It brings nothing to the table. There are frequencies, musical tones that are parasitic. The 440 frequency is parasitic. It robs you. It's like a thief in the night. And your best songs were mastered, right, by the spin masters who are controlled by the soul catchers to do everything they could to catch your soul. You are listening to music that breaks your toroidal field. No longer do you have a vortex. It's like, it's chaos. But what we've got to do is create order out of chaos. You're supposed to take those chaotic frequencies and go through a certain type of alchemy to transform them, to transpose them, to transduce them into something usable. So I figured out in 1996 how to get rid of energetic frequency parasites. Most of the music we listen to, the sounds, they're not out in nature. You don't hear the birds making these certain frequencies. All the birds, all the animals, the crickets, the frogs, all the animals are making sounds that are based on the harmonics of nature. Now we're moving into, everything is based in the computer. Now they got AI making music, so you could be lazy. You ain't even got to do nothing. Just, I want a song that's got a dope beat. In fact, I want to make a song like Brother Rich's. What's that song he got? I Can Do Magic. AI goes to listen to your song, Brother Rich, and come back with a groove and a beat like yours. And then you can't rap, so you just write the lyrics down, and you say who you want. I'm gonna sound like Jay-Z. And next is Jay-Z rapping over some music that they tried to copy from you. It ain't real. It ain't authentic. But people are so fake and lazy, and people are so plastic. They're wearing plastic clothes, plastic hair, plastic attitudes. They're plastic. Some people are made of plastic. You remember that song? Some people, what song is that? Are up to no good. Backstabbers. Plastic. This was in the 70s they made this song, that people was going to be made out of plastic. I'm not saying that AI is not good for some things, but we're using AI to do everything for a minute. And we can talk about it's going to take over. It done took over. But artificial intelligence didn't start with the computers. It started with music. Being fake. Singing these death marches. Almost every song that comes with a holiday is a death march. Your marriage song is a death march. The birthday song, if you sing it to one other than Stevie Wonder, it's a death march. You graduate, it's a death march. You get married, it's a death march. When you start agreeing to this over and over, that this sounds good, and you want this played at your graduation, now all of a sudden, you become a zombie. The zombie's always out. It's supposed to be dead, but it's looking for life. How many zombie movies do we need? They're telling you what it's like. I'm saying that we get a chance to wake up now. This spring, I'm telling y'all, you're going to come back next year and say, Dr. B, you was on some stuff. Because if you change up now, if you change your rhythm right now, today, because you got like a week to do it, And when you go through this change of season as a new person, just start connecting to the soil. Start connecting to the trees. Go outside naked. Start making love only if you're focusing on a real outcome. Giving birth to gods. Give birth to new ideas, new levels of creativity. Do it now. Don't wait. Because they keep telling you in the news and in the mainstream that we're in trouble. Oh boy, it's getting bad. It's real bad. It's worse than it's ever been. It ain't no worse than it's ever been. What are you talking about? It's the same bullshit. It's dressed up different. I am telling you, it's the time to go inward and find ourselves. Let spring be about renewal. You got to take a break from certain foods, certain activities, certain people. You know, your subconscious mind will start creating drama. Such and such ain't calling me like they used to. They must not like me. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, I found out that somebody was cheating on me. You cheating on yourself. A lot of us are cheaters and we don't even call it that. We just want to read a book and be super conscious. Listen, it takes a lot more than reading a book. It takes experiences. It takes going through pain. It takes losing some things before you can gain some things. What I'm saying is we have an amazing opportunity right now to change our frequency and tune ourselves up. So, you know, this is why I offer the medicine music, elevationtime.com. Go check out the medicine music. We got a few things on Instagram. Go to Dr. B Sirius on YouTube. But also remember, this particular cleanse that I just made, this detox program, the elevated total body program, is to deal with the serpent energy. Did y'all know about the serpent energy? Do you have any idea that there's snake venom in most people's systems right now? Where'd you get it? We ain't gonna get into that. I can't mention that here. Most people got a little bit of cobra venom in this Gila monster. I think that was the name of one of them reptiles. They put it in certain things. And you say, well, I didn't do that thing. You was around people that did the thing. And you believed in certain things and you went into fear and you lost your grip and you start getting angry and you're upset all the time and you're mad all the time. And you keep pointing the finger who the enemy is. Guess what? You're acting like a reptile. You're acting like the lizard people. You're talking about, oh boy, I saw such and such on the news and his eyes turned. The lizard energy is something we all have because we start as basically a reptile in utero. We're supposed to grow up out of that. But what these frequencies, what this music does, what these foods are doing, what these super parasites, these ethnospecific parasites that are here right now, look it up. Ethnospecific parasites, ethnospecific bacteria, ethnospecific viruses. They change the frequency of your body. And they make you start agreeing that some bullshit tastes good and feels good. It makes your ego huge. Makes you think that you could just look good and get all pumped up and wear all this fake stuff and actually have something when you actually have nothing. The devil gives you nothing. Deval. You devaluate yourself. The devil is inside. You got to outwit it. So what I'm saying is that this season, we're offering a brand new detoxification and cleansing product like we never had before. I just put some energy and created some things in that program that's never been done before. Nobody's done it. Nobody was looking at it. There's frequency monsters that are everywhere. And you've got to know how to seal up your auric field. And we don't have enough time to it may take 13 years for you to learn how to seal up your auric field and keep sealing it. But there are substances. There are substances that do that very well. And most of these things that seal up your auric field are resins. That's why I think when I saw you last time, Brother Rich, I'll tell you, I said I got this Dr. B Sirius Master Tonic Reserve. This is my own personal auric field sealer. I take this all the time because what does it do? These 7 resins from 7 special trees help to seal up your auric field. Now, some of that is in the elevated total body program because what I did was I said, look, we got to tune up the reproductive system. Folks is dealing with ED. Women too is dealing with ED. Erectile dysfunction. They can't get it on. because they overuse their energy. There's no life force coming through you because the body says, look, man, we too tired to try to do all that. We got to tune up the liver, the kidneys, the spleen, the lungs, because all of those organs hold on to what? Emotions. A lot of us have become super emotional. You know why? Because 6,000 years ago, some things showed up all over the world in the skies, and they landed. And the beings that came out left something with us. And they placed this thing inside domesticated cats. Hold on now. Who created domesticated cats? They were created in Egypt or Kemet. Domesticated cats, look at their eyes. Do they look like regular cats? They got the eyes almost like snakes. Somebody said, oh, Dr. B, you're going real far. Okay, keep telling me that. That's all right. You can go believe what you want to believe. You can follow the Euro people and what they got to say. They know the truth. They're the scientists. Okay, keep going with that. You need to realize that what Watiko is. Do you know what Watiko is? Watiko is called the vamp or the flyer, and almost every civilization that fell caught something called Watiko. It's a spiritual, energetic virus that was left here 6,000 years ago by these beings called the soul catchers that kicked out the Tartarians and all them. There was a lot of good stuff happening here. We was using the planet as energy. You know, the whole planet creates energy. You can pull electricity out of a tree. You can wrap wire around a tree and light a light bulb. What happened was these beings came in, they gangsters, and they took over. And the original people that was here left. We're not the original folks. And the thing they did was they infected the what? The domesticated cats with a parasite called Toxoplasma. Lives in the amygdala. What is the amygdala? That's the part of your brain that processes emotion. They say 70% of the people have Toxoplasma in their amygdala. Vegans and vegetarians and breatharians and fruitarians got it too. Don't be tripping with me. Tell me you don't have it. I can look right in your eyes, the way your eyes move, and tell you have it. What does it do? It plays with your perceptions. It plays with things that, you know, you have emotions about things that are not even, there's none of your business. Things that shouldn't even be affecting you, things that are not even true. You waiting for these people here to tell you the truth and give you some reparations. They ain't gave nobody else reparations. No, they gave it to the Japanese. No, they had internment camps. Gave them some money and took it back because they spent it all. Put it right back in the system. Put it in American banks. You're not giving me nothing if I got to put it in your bank. Toxoplasma is a parasite that started out in cats. It's a superbug parasite drone. What are you talking about? It's a drone. Yeah, you know, we got drones now. These beings had biological drones. This may be what caused Egypt to fall. Now, don't get all upset and start, you know, I talked to Billy about it. We kind of got into it a little bit, but he understands what I'm saying. Something happened all of a sudden. It's Watiko, also known as Toxoplasma, a parasite that gets people to become separated from themselves, their heart and their brain and their mind and their gut. Their frequency gets off. They start going into me-isms and move away from we. They become greedy and afraid. And they jump into a what they call a control drama. So people today are being controlled by these beings far away through the drone that's in their amygdala called Toxoplasma. The ancient name is Watiko. Look it up. It has brought every major society down. It has many names, and almost every culture, they know about it. It's ancient. It comes from an alien group of beings. Here's the clincher. 1996, when I got taken up and taken away, I was downloaded with the information to deal with this superbug. I didn't know it. I had no idea what happened to me. I lost my mind. I was gone. It wasn't until I met Dr. Kwaku Ando, and he began to tell me about the prophecy and that I was a part of some. I don't want to be no part of no prophecy. I got enough issues right here dealing with life. Nah, some prophecy. I was ready to chase him off until he showed me some facts. And I realized that there were certain plants and certain minerals, they're called rare minerals, rare earths, and light and sound frequencies that doesn't get rid of toxoplasma, but it shuts it down. It goes into what's called a quiescent state. It hibernates because it's controlling your emotions. Some of y'all can feel it right now. When I start talking about, you feel something. Wait a minute, I do have something in my head. Something is controlling your thoughts and your actions and everything you do. And you think you're in full control with your huge ass ego. And you feel like you're wearing some copper and you got on some conscious clothing. You know, you eat in a certain way. You got this, man. I got this, man. I take my colon cleanse. I got my own parasite cleanse. I read the book that tells you how to make a parasite cleanse. Yes, you did. Who you think gave you that book? You think that the parasites in your intestines are the ones that's causing the systemic problems throughout your life? This is a war. This is a war on a whole nother level, y'all. This is a war of principalities. Do you know what that means? These things are off-world beings. This has been going on a long time. And your body is a spaceship. Your body is a universe. Your body is a solar system. That's why you have a solar plexus and you got planets with your auras. But when your energetic field is broken, you got to seal it up quick. And then you've got to do something that changes the frequency of your whole body down to the root. That's what Dr. B figured out. People say, well, Dr. B, how can you be so fun and have a jovial attitude all the time? Because I know about this and I realize how to beat them at their own game. All you got to do is change the frequency. It takes 28 days. And these regular herbs that people are taking, a lot of them, right, they're okay. But there's a whole nother level of cleansing and detoxification. So right now we're doing a whole special thing with this new cleanse. We're offering it. It's starting right now. So tomorrow night, go to elevationtime.com or go to my link tree and join the free webinar. I'm going to be talking about this deeper. And then on Saturday, I'm giving this class to tell you how to use certain spices to help spice up your life. What I'm telling you right now is the time to invest in the real you. But you got to get rid of the double ganger. You got to get rid of the mental parasite in your head. You tell me how your average herbs are going to get into your brain. Most herbs would destroy the brain. The brain has a blood-brain barrier. You can take all the herbs you want, eat all the vegetables you want, get your O3 and all that. That's all good. What we're saying is you have to change the frequency of the blood. And the frequency of the blood has to change every day for 28 days to certain frequencies. I learned this through music. It's a musical frequency spectrum that we're dealing with, which helps to seal us up and shut down toxoplasma. And some of y'all know who have done this program, it changes your whole life. You become more connected. You don't care about what other people are thinking. Other people got something to say. You say, let them. I don't care. What am I going to do? That's where mind your business and business your mind comes from. You want to have new ideas this spring? Let's detoxify at a whole nother level. Let's do it together. Brother Rich, you there? Go to elevationtime.com. Look at the Elevated Total Body Program. Also look at the medicine music and join in. You there, Brother Rich?
Yes, sir.
And you be letting me go off on these tangents, man.
Hey, man, that's what you do, Doc. You get that Holy Ghost in you, and I can't interrupt the Holy Ghost, man. You just go off, man. But listen, a magnificent talk tonight. We got about 1,800 people in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Magnificent talk tonight. Always a pleasure building with Dr. B Sirius family, and I'm glad that y'all came out. The one thing I want to say, Dr. B, Very energetic conversation tonight. And I know a lot of people got maybe energy that they didn't have when the show first started. I started out the show and I talked about people being spiritually. I felt as though I noticed people being spiritually exhausted. Um, the one thing I want to say to the family is that my mentality that's gotten me to where it's gotten me and continues to get me where I gotta get. And I like to use like rap analogies or modern analogies so people can understand it. 50 Cent had an album called Get Rich or Die Trying. And that mentality is why he ended up getting rich. There was no option or no plan B. It was like that for me and the reason why I asked you, I want to know how long people were into this spirituality and metaphysics. Because in the first 10 years of me being into this, obviously you go through a lot of ups and downs. And when I was at my down point, I said, I looked around me, I seen people prospering and going different places, and I was in a place where I wasn't content with. And I said, damn, I got this huge library and I'm not where I want to be. And I made up my mind that moment. I said, I'm gonna just either I'm gonna die or I'm gonna just stay with this information. There's no quitting, family. You gotta have that mentality. There's no plan B. There's no option. There's no. Well, I'm gonna try this for 5 years. If your mindset is I'm gonna get into this information for 5 years and see what happened, or I'm getting into this for 10 years. I'm gonna give this a good 10 years of my life. Man, listen, this is a lifelong journey. I'm fully committed to this movement, to this my spiritual development. And I was willing to die. I was willing to, whatever. I could be a homeless person on the street, but I'm not stopping what being involved in this. When I say this movement, my spiritual what's that word I want to use? Whatever I had to go through in life, family. So I refused to quit on my journey, and because I refused to quit on my spiritual journey refused to quit on me, and you get rewarded greatly. Like Dr. B said, when you pass the test. So I just, I know a lot of people can be spiritually exhausted right now. We hear about 100 full moons a year and 30 blood moons and eclipses, and we hear about so many different things. And we're just hoping that the next one is going to be when it's my time to shine. I would say just stay down, family. Stay down until it's your time. When we use these words, the chosen ones, Seven Beaumont said something amazing. He said, chosen simply means it's just your time. We have an eternity to figure this out. We're all going to get our time to feel like we're the chosen ones. So don't get discouraged, family. Brother Rich is going to be here. Dr. B is going to be here. Most importantly, your higher self is going to be there, and your ancestors is going to be there. And let's just continue to be true to this thing. And with that being said, Dr. B, I'm going to let you close it out.
This is the time to choose yourself.
Yeah.
The chosen few are chosen because it's only a few that really choose themselves, and they don't wait for other people to choose them. They're not looking for other people to agree. One of the symptoms of ascension is that all of a sudden your friends leave and you don't want to eat what they're eating. You don't want to hang out with them. You sometimes may go into times of depression and sadness, and you may go through what they call the dark night of the moon, because you're changing your frequency. We're moving from 3D to 4D to 5D. That is an idea that creates what? A paradigm, a world, a universe. Everybody's not going to make it to the fifth dimension. And we're probably not going to make it with our bodies, because our bodies are just ships that we use here.
Right.
There are many ways to get to the place that we need to go to. Somebody asked me, they said, well, Dr. B, why you think you got the only product that can do what you said? No, I didn't say that. There's other people that may have it too. I'm just telling you what I'm offering you is something that came through me through an experience where I had to lose everything. I had to be ready to let go of everything. I lost my mind. I had to let go. I had to what? Surrender. That changed everything. That changed. It's like, Seven Bomar me on some stuff.
Yeah.
He'd be on some, he's breaking it down.
Yeah.
He got the language. Some of those words, some of those things he knows about the entities. There's so many entities within us. Your mitochondria are entities that can live outside your body. They're actually alien beings that have all come together to be you for this particular time. They're like on a ride. They're on a ride in your spaceship. You are the mothership. You are the fathership. But first, you got to have some fellowship with your true original self. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
All we can do is help and guide. Somebody asked in the chat, they said, well, what about you got a coupon code, Dr. B? Come to the free webinar tomorrow night and I'll give you a coupon code. But listen, it's elevation time. Having a high vibration sounds great. You might figure you talk a certain way, you act a certain way, but then you get home and your vibration changes when you're by yourself. Who are you by yourself? When you're all alone, who really are you? Are you being totally real with yourself? If you're an angry person, be angry. Anger gets shit done. That's one of those levels you got to go through to get to the next level. Anger is another level up from depression. At least you got some energy. Now you're pissed. This is good. Get it out. Then we got to transmute that because it's alchemy we're going through. And the first step of alchemy is that what? Calcination. You're burning off all the stuff that's not you to get rid of the dross. That's not easy. We all haven't done it yet. None of us are perfect. But we do have some special knowledge, and there's a lot of people who right now are walking around that didn't walk to the light. They went into the darkness. That darkness is where everything is at. I'd like to thank all of you right now who are here, who are choosing yourself, who are moving on the path that you feel, not that other people, we got to stop looking for other people to agree with us.
Right. Facts,
other people's validation.
Yeah.
You think I should go to the Dr. B meeting? You think I should go to the Brother Rich? Why are you asking them? If you feel it, you go by yourself, with yourself, for yourself.
Yeah.
You got to choose yourself. You got to let go of some of the bullshit that you've been carrying most of your life because you picked it up through oppression and you've been oppressed so much. And your family was oppressed and your family's family was oppressed to the point where they now agree to oppression. And then you become an oppressor, sometime only oppressing yourself. You got to become impress. And press into yourself. But let's get rid of the things that are not you. There's a lot that's not you. Somebody asked and said, well, Dr. B, when are you going to start doing consultations again? All right. We're going to do some very chosen, consultations with some people. You can go to elevationtime.com. I'm also doing group consultations now again. So if you have a group or a organization, we can do subconscious alignment on everybody in the group, which takes your conscious mind and your subconscious and tunes them up for one goal. A lot of us are at war with our subconscious because the subconscious is 13 million times more powerful than the conscious mind. We've got to reprogram the subconscious, and there's a backdoor key to get into every part of your subconscious. When you do this thing called the subconscious alignment, it changes everything. Because those memories, those feelings, those things that are in our subconscious, in what they call the body mind, which are in your auric field, are files that need to be unlocked. So you can let some of that stuff out and reorder them. You can't get rid of certain things, but you can change the frequency. You can change the order. If you're ready for that, if you're ready to really do this, then let's do this. And a lot of people say, well, how expensive is it? Well, see, you ain't ready. You got to ask, how expansive is it? Take that word expensive and turn it into expansive. Because if you really want something, you'll pay for it. Folks is going to a concert right now. What's the name of them is coming to town? It's $1,200 to get a seat. And you want a box seat? It's $20,000. And people who seem to be broke is paying $1,000, $2,000 for their outfit. Their sneakers might cost $1,000 to go to the concert, to get a feel of a frequency and a sound that is actually taking them into death, marching them into death. But there's light out there. There's a good time. So we can't just look at what's messed up. If we talk most of the time about the problems, then we get more of them. Your reticular activating system will what? Attract what you're focusing on. I'm saying it's time to focus on you. Use this spring energy. Use this particular equinox to change everything. Don't wait, because you see the world around you looks crazy. It's an illusion. It's a trick. It's not real. It's Photoshop. It's artificial intelligence.
It's AI generated.
It's all AI generated. All of it is AI generated. And the first AI generation was Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy. That was artificial intelligence. Why we teach them that? Because it begins to march people into believing in the cartoons, believing in the fakeness. You got to vote this way. You got to have this religion. You got to believe in this. Why? Because you are not individual. Why am I not individual? I am an individual. There's never going to be another Dr. B. There's never going to be another you. There's never going to be another Brother Rich, ever. Somebody told me the other day, well, Dr. B, you the next, blah, blah, blah. What do you mean I'm the next? I'll cuss you out. I'm me, and I'm being me. And don't think this is easy, because it takes a lot to do this, to conjure up this energy. Earlier today, I was ready to fall out. I was through. I said, I don't know what I'm going to do, man. There's so much going on. And I went out there and laid on that earth and ate some of that mold grass and that mold dirt and woke up, grabbed a tree, rubbed on some of that moss on the side of the tree and drank some water that had salt in it. That's a whole nother thing. Which salt? Yeah, you better not drink the wrong salt, because you'll be dead. But it is our time, y'all. This is our time. And that's why in the last year, 2024, look all the drama you saw going on. So they turned some of your best people against you and you against them. 2024. Why are people dropping like flies in the mainstream? Why is this happening? A lot of people are making their transition. You don't know. You may be with somebody right now, and it's the last time you be with them. I don't know if I'll ever be on this program again. We don't know how much time we got, but while we're here, we need to do everything we can. It ain't about the money. It's about the energy. It's about the outcome. It's about the experience. And it's about detoxing at the deepest levels, but not just detoxing, because a lot of people are detoxing, junkies. They always detox. I'm on a cleanse. I'm on a cleanse. They're on a cleanse most of the time, and they're still nasty. Why? Because you've got to know how to what? Put nutrition back in the body. Nutrition is not just food. It's music. It's everything that you do. It's who you are, who you're becoming. So as Brother Rich said earlier, you may have spent a certain amount of time in this, but guess what? There is no time. Time is an illusion. It's about right now to now. Do what you can. Focus on what you can control. Elevate your mind. Go on over to elevation and become a member, because the members be getting some special stuff now. People know you become a member over there. But you got to join something. Become a subscriber of Brother Rich's channel. Subscribe to Dr. B's YouTube channel. Listen to the music. Listen to the frequency. And the people that you gravitate towards, support them. Support them. A lot of people say, well, Dr. B, all this stuff you saying is on the internet for free. Is it? You ain't going to hear this stuff that we're talking about on the internet for free. You're getting it because you're gifted and you've chosen yourself. And when you choose to listen to black magic, something is going to happen inside you. As long as you listen to what you feel, extrapolate the pieces that you desire. All of it may not be for you. Wake up. It's time to figure out who you are. And if you need help, then send up a flare. There's help on the way. You need us to come to you, to your group, to your city, to your town. Let's talk about it. It's time. And I appreciate you, Brother Rich.
And King, I'm just checking on real quick, checking on King Simon. I seen you in the chat. You wrote a little earlier. You had an interview with Dr. Valentine. You said you cried during an interview and you refused to give up. Just want to make sure you okay, brother. King Simon, you okay, my brother? Just want to make sure everything is okay. I didn't get to see it, so I didn't know exactly what's going on, but I hope everything's okay, brother. So if you give me a thumbs up in the chat if you okay, King. Just want to get a
And that's really important that we do that, because a lot of us are going through a lot.
Yeah.
You know, there's some things that we're all going through right now that we've never been through. We're being tested. And a lot of folks need support. Mental, physical, spiritual, financial support. If you really are into something. And it's funny, they do this in the church. They get that preacher everything. He want a jet, they give him a jet. Well, okay, well, what about us? You know, Brother Rich and I, we'd like to get a jet too. He ain't got to drive back and forth to New York all the time. He can take that jet. I don't know if he will, but I'm just saying that when we invest in things that really help to build us and those who are helping us, that's a beautiful thing. It doesn't have to be money. It could be just support. It could be just support. That's all we ask, because what we do being in the mainstream like this is challenging. It is real. It's not an easy life. I can't even go to the store anymore. It's not in Atlanta or LA. Dr. B, listen, I got a huge lump on my leg. Look like people pulling up their dress in the store. One brother unzipped his pants to show me something on his buttock in the store. Dr. B, now what do you think this could be? Now the doctor said it was a huge web. Do you think it could be cancer? I don't know what that is. It is moving. Oh my God, that's a ghost. I mean, the stuff that people come up with, and they run up to you, and a lot of people don't want, they don't want to give you no privacy. They done took pictures of me on the internet eating at a restaurant. You didn't ask? Do you know how disrespectful? There's places in the world, they'll chop your head off for taking a picture, because pictures can be used. So be careful. Let's start respecting ourselves and respecting other people and give people space. Ask for permission. Ask for permission. Ask for permission to be your best self and give other people space and learn boundaries, and always attempt to emit and give love and kindness, and stop judgment. Get out of judgment. Please leave judgment alone. You learn that from the Europeans, and that stuff is going to hang you. The Europeans, right? If you start following that path and that's not your frequency, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but if that's your frequency, go with it. But it's usually not our frequency to be judging each other. They got us judging each other. He ain't real because he said one thing that was wrong. Nobody's perfect. None of us are perfect. If you're perfect, then go ahead and throw the first stone. But you can't throw that first stone because you got your own issues. But the ego and what's happening is toxoplasma keeps us separate. Toxoplasma causes the ego to be huge, causes us to not really emit high levels of love, and never let go of the old beliefs. Never let go of the judgment and the fear and the pain and the trauma. That's the big conversation now. People, they become traumaholics. They got traumaholic clubs. Everybody in the club is talking about trauma. I got trauma too. I got trauma too. Yeah, I'm traumatic. I was in a group called the Traumatics back in the 70s.
Oh, man.
They just want to talk about their problems, and that's okay. But there is something that we need to do called the 80-20 rule, and I'm going to leave it on this. 80% needs to be this talk of solutions. 20% the problem. Starting this spring, next week, attempt to do this for at least 28 days. Only speak of solutions. Otherwise, shut up. If there's problems more than 20%, you are dead waiting on dirt. You're part of the problem. You're a zombie. You are controlled by the soul catchers. They got you. But you can break that spell too once you catch yourself. You got to catch yourself or you wreck yourself. I love all of you. Thank you very much. Go to elevationtime.com. Thank you, Brother King Simon. Simon, I got something.
He just
for
gave
you.
a thumbs up. King Simon, he must have just heard it. He just gave a thumbs up, man.
I don't know. That's not the right color thumb. So you sure that's really King Simon? That's not the right color thumb. Well, that was a little pink thumb. That was a that was a cocky thumb.
Oh man.
You sure that's really King Simon? King Simon, call me tomorrow, brother, because I got something for you. Let's support each other.
Yeah.
Let's support each other. Much love and much respect. And we all make mistakes and we got ups and downs. It's a roller coaster out here. Just don't get off the ride.
And family
time.
Real quick. Oh, okay. King Simon said my father had a stroke, so I was down. Okay, prayers to you and your family, King Simon.
Yes, brother.
Yeah, prayers to you and your family, my brother.
So yeah, tomorrow night, come to the free webcast we're having at elevationtime.com or go to the to our link tree and join up for that free webcast tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love all of you, man. Much love to you, Brother Rich, and your family and all that you do for our community, our people, our family. Thank you very much.
Hey, Doc, I'm gonna have one of the biggest announcements of all time. You know what I'm talking about, but I gotta wait for the brother to okay it.
Yes.
Oh man, it's gonna be awesome.
Yes.
It's revolutionary. The announcement I'm gonna have, it might be in a month, it may be in a couple of weeks, I'm not sure. But the announcement I'm coming with, family, it's revolutionary. It's something that people have all been waiting for. It's something that people have all been asking for. It is absolutely groundbreaking. It is something that we all are going to be happening. That's finally happening. And I found the perfect person. I found somebody who's the best in the world at this.
Yes.
And Doc knows what I'm talking about.
Yes.
He actually went with me to this meeting a couple of it's not a lecture, it's not a gathering. It's better than that. This is revolutionary. That's the best way I could say it. But it's not just we're gonna do the lectures, but this right here, family, this is gonna change everybody's lives. This is way bigger than a lecture. No, it's not a TV show. It's bigger than media. It's bigger than media. It's bigger than that. Media is extremely important. But this right here is going to change. This paradigm shifting. It's going to change the whole paradigm. I'm going to put all my energy into this. And if y'all know Brother Rich get hype and Brother Rich, I got this electrifying energy. I'm using all my electricity for what's about to happen, what I'm about to bring to y'all. Yes. Give me about like I said, the announcement might come in about probably in a couple of weeks or a month or something.
Yes,
like
we're working on it. We're working on it.
Woo!
You see what you know what I'm saying, right? You felt it. This is past metaphysics. This is quantum physics we talking about right here.
It's huge. It's huge, family. It's huge. Yeah. We all been waiting on this day. So all right, it's better than a retreat. It's better than a retreat. It's definitely better than a retreat. It's way bigger than that. It's way bigger than that. So, all right, with that being said, Dr. B, once again, I want to thank you, my brother King Simon. Thank you for everybody who's tuned in. We still got about 1,700 people. It is now 11:11. Perfect time for me to make this closing statement. I appreciate all of you. Make sure y'all tap into your fullest potential before you go to sleep tonight. Program your subconscious mind, family, before you go to sleep tonight with what you would like to experience the next day. And while you're asleep, the subconscious will work on that the whole night, family. We each have different wants, desires, goals, dreams, ambitions. We all can fulfill it. It is already fulfilled, matter of fact. I appreciate all y'all. I might be back tomorrow. I'm not sure. But with that being said, we out of here. Dr. B.
Travel light, y'all. See y'all on Saturday for the class and tomorrow night for the free webinar. ElevationTime.com. Peace, my brother.
Peace.